Hey guys, this is a technique video on how to cycle dumbbell snatches. So, there's two main considerations that you should be aware of. Usually the dumbbell snatch is a movement that we use in conditioning workouts. So it's usually a movement that is going to involve lots of reps in succession, so sets of probably 10 or more repetitions, not always, but that's the most usual case, and that is not going to be very heavy. That's the context that I'm thinking about for this video, right? So there's two main ways to cycle a dumbbell snatch. I'm gonna show you the two, and then I'll talk to you about the similarities and what you should do on both. So the first way is to do a muscle snatch. This is the most common. Let me show you a couple of reps. So I'm gonna start here. That's 1, 2, 3. Right? You could alternate if you're alternating. That's the first thing. The characteristic here is that I'm gonna start in a very high deadlift position. I extend the hips and then I do a muscle turn over, right? Like so, I'm not coming under that bell at all. And I'm just gonna press it up, right? Like pull and press it up. That's the first way. And the second way, and of course these are broad categories, there's 700 ways in between them, but the second main way is to do power repetitions, right? Proper power repetitions. So let me show you 3 reps here. So I'm gonna start here. 1, 2, 3. So as you saw there, in the power aspect, I am gonna throw that bell up, catch, and then I stand up, right? So I come under that bell and then I complete the reps. Good. Let's first talk about the things that shouldn't change between these two movements, because what changes is very obvious, but what shouldn't change is the following. Regardless if you're muscling or you're powering these reps, the tendency often, because the load is very light, is to make it more of a back movement, right? So I'm a little bit bent over, I just pull, kind of do a good morning, and then pull with my arm. For both, there's a disadvantage of that, and is that I'm gonna get tired my core, my midline a lot. Remember that the lower back part, the lower back is part of the core. And so if you're tiring your core, you're tiring your breathing muscles, which in turn makes you for a conditioning workout. It's very taxing, it's very, like this is very central, right? Like, sorry, that's kind of obvious, but like, it's not the best thing to tire in a workout, right? And so, how do we fix that? Well, the good thing is that the bell, different for a barbell, can be directly under me, so I can squat, the knee can travel forward, and I can use more of my legs, right? And so one of the things that you want is to lower your butt, and you don't have to really full start in a full squat position, just lower your butt a little bit more so that you can use those hips. And as you saw there, I did a muscle snatch still, like I didn't come under, but it was still a very leg dominant movement, right? And so that will apply for both. So when you're setting up for your dumbbell snatches, make sure that you're coming down. When you're cycling, regardless of the kind of snatch that you're gonna be doing, just remind yourself of that, because what's really easy is that as soon as I start coming down, I come down like this, right? And so when you're coming down, one thing that I like to do is keep that belt close, this way, woo up, bam. The closer I get here, and the more I can lower with my legs, the better setup I'm gonna be for the next repetition, the more I'm gonna be able to throw it with my legs, right? Good, so that applies to both. That's gonna help you in both, right? So always think that this descent, the negative part of a movement in the cycling, is going to determine your setup position. And the setup position is the first part of the movement. So you want those two to be very good, right? So remember that the setup on each rep is with the butt a little bit lower so that you can really use those legs, so that you don't have to use your back and your arm that much, right? Your legs are powerhouses, they're gonna go forever. Good. And the second thing is, for that to happen while you're cycling, bring the belt close to you and land kind of in a squat position. Again, as I said, you don't have to be in a full squat. At the beginning, exaggerate that so that your butt is lower. And I'm exaggerating when I'm showing, but what we want to avoid is a lot of this, right? Just because, again, you're gonna tire core and arms too much, right? And so that is the main consideration. Good. And now let's talk about when to use either the power variation or when to use the muscle variation. So this matters. What matters here is like that you know your capacity and you know the workout, right? So if you know your capacity and the weight and the number of reps is on the light side for you, and you're not risking muscular fatigue, do muscle snatches, right? So if it's a workout in which you don't need to pace, muscle snatches. That is really the least amount of workouts out there. When you have a workout that has, like more than 40 repetitions per set, more than 30 repetitions per set, and the weight is decent for you, which is the vast majority of the workouts that involve dumbbell snatches, the power variation is gonna work very well and it's gonna save you on the long term. Why is that? You're increasing the cycle time, in the sense that with the power, 10 repetitions is gonna take you longer than 10 muscling, for sure. But it's gonna tax you less and it's gonna allow you to go for longer and get back to the belt faster, right? Because you're being just more efficient. Remember that good form is usually the most biomechanical advantageous way, right, to move. And so it's saving you energy, which in a longer workout, when you have lots of reps, the trade-off of like slower cycle time but more energy, more efficiency, on the long-term pays off better, right? So you can think about two ways. You let the idiot that is going out too hard go hard and fast with the muscle snatches, while you just stay methodic in the back doing power. And you can cycle them pretty fast still if you practice them enough, right? You can just throw, catch, bam, throw, catch, bam. Okay, so you just throw, catch, stand, repeat. You can be very methodical and still very fast. The 2 seconds difference that you're gonna have between a set of 10 is not really gonna cost you that much, right? Let me see. Did we say everything? Yeah. Last thing though, when cycling dumbbell snatches with power mechanics, this is very complicated for most people because most people don't really understand that in the turn order you have to let the belt rotate. I made a whole video on the topic. Make sure you watch it, because if not, the dumbbell power is always gonna feel very weird. It's always gonna feel very inefficient because you're having to turn the bell somehow with the hand. The bell has to rotate, just like a kettlebell rotates around your hand, just like a barbell spins. When you're going in a snatch for both, the bell has to rotate. It cannot be your wrist. And so check that video because that will help a lot. And that is it. Let me know how it goes.